Hello, 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 hello. Good morning. Just getting set up. We are together again on a Wednesday. And as we get set up this morning, let's make sure we have either a blanket or a mat and a pillow or two. And maybe some water. Okay. I need to blow my nose. Oh, right back. Okay. I felt really tempted to bring this into my yoga space. All right, let's get started. Let's see who else joined. Hey, Sam. All right, welcome to Self-Love Yoga. I'm excited to be with you all this morning. I pretty much just woke up about 20 minutes ago, feeling the morning sniffles. I'm excited to do a self-love flow. Uh, we're gonna start seated. Let's see. Another comment. Good morning, Auntie Jackie. So we'll start seated. You can maybe prop yourself up on a pillow or just be on the ground. It's up to you. And take a moment to just tap into the natural breath. Roll the shoulders back. Find a nice, tall, long spine. And we'll start with some natural breaths. And while you're here, maybe to find some control, we can slow down the breath. And I invite you to place one hand on the belly and try to bring your breath down to the hand, allowing the belly to expand on the inhale and deflate like a balloon on the exhale. If you feel your chest rise and fall on the inhale and exhale, just try to take a moment, release the tension in your shoulders, release the tension in your chest. Try to bring your awareness to the breath, coming low, deep down into the belly, and slowing down each exhale. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. One more breath here. You can release your hand. We'll roll the shoulders up and back, big, big circles with the shoulders. And drop the shoulders down. We'll drop the head over to the left shoulder. And drop it down to the chest, chin to chest, keeping a nice tall spine. And then bring it over to the right side. And drop your chin down to the chest. We'll do that again. Slowly, just opening up the muscles in the neck. Chin to chest. And then over to the right side. And chin to chest again. This time, let's look straight, let's roll the shoulders back, and very gently let the head fall back. Opening the throat, open the chest. And bring the neck back to neutral. From here, we'll raise the arms up and over. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Again, connect with that belly breath that we did at the beginning. Hmm. And from here, we'll reach tall along with the left arm, creating some space in our left side body. And then we'll do the same with the right. So reach even longer and taller with the right side. And same thing again, reach tall and long on the left side. And reach tall and long on the right side. From here, we'll turn the torso to the right and drop the left hand down to the right knee and the right hand into our back space for a twist. So from here, trying to keep a nice tall long spine, we'll inhale to reach tall and long and exhale to deepen our twist, turning the chin all the way to the right. Again, connecting with the belly breath here. And when you're ready, you can lift the arms up and over and land over on the other side. So right hand to left knee. Inhale to sit tall and long, and exhale to deepen the twist. Turn the chin all the way to the left, completing your rotation. I'm taking a moment to admire this mirror. You can see the beauty through the mirror. And after your next exhale, you can release. From here, you can grab the knees or the ankles, and we'll inhale to puff the chest forward. Exhale to round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, puff the chest forward. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, puff forward. Exhale, chin to chest. Just take a moment to relax here. Let the head hang heavy. You might feel a sensation up the entire spine. Maybe with each exhale, lowering the head just a little bit more. Really relax into this gentle forward fold to seated position. Allow the shoulders to release. Allow the neck to release. And roll up. From here, we'll drop the right hand to our right side and reach the left hand up and over. And switch over to the other side. And come back to neutral. From here, we'll roll out the wrists. Just make circles here. And change the direction of your circles. And from here, we'll spread the fingers out, pointing them toward the body. Really gently, just start to press your fingers and then your palms into the floor. And you can continually just add a little bit of weight as you feel comfortable. You can maybe give some topical heat to the wrist, to the forearms. And release. From here, we'll sit back up, roll the shoulders back. We'll open the arms nice, big, and wide. And then from here, we're going to give ourselves a big hug, crossing the left arm over the right and grabbing the shoulders. We'll take a moment in our self-love practice to show ourselves some appreciation. In this flow, of course, through virtual yoga, because I can't see you, it's a little bit of a challenge. So I invite you to really just take care of your body today. Do whatever feels good. Stretch out the left arm from here, and you can bend the right, pulling in the arm closer toward the body and keeping the left elbow, the left shoulder down and back. I invite you to take child's pose at any time in the flow. If something feels out of your stretch zone or at a place where it's just a little too uncomfortable, just release from the pose. We'll bring the arms out wide again, and then cross the right over the left. Give ourselves a big hug. Take a moment to just recognize the love you have for yourself. And if you can't recognize that now, just try to conjure it up. Think about those things that we love about ourselves, the environments that we create, the communities that we build. We'll take some breaths for that while we're here. And we can bend into the left arm, reach the right hand out away from the body, keeping that right shoulder down. And release. From here, we'll inhale to bring the arms up and over again. We'll take a few breaths here. Every time we exhale, let's try to drop the shoulders down a little bit more into our sockets. Sit into our seats just a little bit more comfortably. So inhaling to reach the arms further. Exhaling to allow the shoulders to release. The next inhale, let's reach super, super tall and long. Exhale, we'll go post the arms, open the chest, and slowly bring down the arms to the hips. Again, we'll do a gentle forward fold here, let the head hang heavy. Really round in the entire spine. You can even pull from under the knees. When you're ready, we'll roll back up. And let's meet in tabletop. It can feel really comfy here to stick a blanket or a pillow beneath your knees for some extra support. So I'm just going to fold up this blanket. Boom. And from here, we're looking to stack the wrists beneath the shoulders and the knees below the hips. And we're kind of here pulling the mat toward us, tucking the hips up and out, pressing the chest forward toward the ground on the inhale. And on the exhale, we're pressing down and away, almost like pushing away the mat. Arching in the back, chin to chest. Tuck the hips forward. And find this at the pace of your own breath. And in our cat-cows, let's try to bring some awareness to the neck, trying not to keep the neck in toward the shoulders too much. We're finding length in the spine. As we inhale, press the hips up and back. Exhale around the spine, chin to chest. After your next round of breath, let's bring our spine to a neutral position. And from here, like a dog would wag its tail, let's try to bring our right hip to our head. So trying to tilt the head over toward the right side, pushing the hips in that direction, and then go over to the other side. And we'll do this one more time. From here, we're gonna crawl the hands forward just a bit and drop the hips over the ankles. We'll stretch the arms far and long. Try to crawl the hands forward as far as we can, finding some space in the chest and the armpits. Let the head hang heavy here. And when you're ready, we'll come back through tabletop. From here, we're going to come to our stomach. So you can bring the legs out long, maybe find a opening for just a moment before dropping down to the stomach. And here we're going to tuck the hands directly under the shoulders and press the elbows and the hands down into the mat. And from here, you can engage in the lower back. Press the chest forward for baby cobra. Engaging in the legs, you can point the toes. And after a couple breaths here, we can exhale. Bring the head down to the mat. We'll take a couple breaths here. From here, we're going to goal post both the arms. And then, bringing the right hand beneath our right shoulder, press into the floor. So kind of lifting the right shoulder up off the ground, keeping that left arm goal posted down on the floor. And then if you feel like you have access to it, you can lift the right leg and just drop that foot on the other side of your body into your backspace. Find some relaxation here, drop the head to the floor, maybe figure out where your foot feels best. Connecting to the belly breath here. And release. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So goal post that right arm. Press into the floor with the left hand underneath the shoulder. Maybe press that right palm into the floor. Maybe press that right shoulder closer to the floor. And if you have access to it, relax the head, lift that left foot and drop it into your backspace on the other side of your body. And release. We'll bring the elbows back beneath our shoulders. It can feel good to have prayer hands here or to press the palms into the floor. And again, here we're engaging in the lower back. You can engage in the legs, Press the chest forward. Try not to lift the chin too much. Here in baby cobra pose, we're warming up the lower back, engaging in the lower back. And when you're ready, you can come back down to the mat, forehead to the floor, to the mat. And then we're going to bring the hands directly under the shoulders again. Tuck the toes behind us. Going into plank, you can either keep the knees down or have knees up. I'll demonstrate the knees down. Pressing into the floor for plank. And then from here, we'll tuck the toes behind us and send the hips up and back, knees bent for our first downward dog. You can really crawl this out. Open up the back of the legs, open up the calves. And when you're ready, you can walk the feet toward the hands for forward fold. And once you're here, you can slowly roll up from the bottom of the spine to the top, really, really slowly. And once you get to the top, roll the shoulders back. Find your grounding in your feet. And once you're here, we'll inhale to raise the arms up and over. Exhale, release the arms down. Inhale, arms up and over. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms up and over. Exhale, release. From here, we'll drop the shoulders, drop the head, roll back down to forward folds, kind of going in reverse here. And once we find ourselves in forward fold, we can grab opposite elbows. Just let the head hang heavy here. You can shake the head yes and nod the head no. From here, we'll bend in the knees. Release the hands, release the arms down, and slowly roll up from the bottom of the spine to the top. Again, from here, we'll inhale, arms up overhead. This time, we'll exhale, hinge at the hips to swan dive down to forward fold. And then on the inhale, we'll flat back. So pressing the hands against the shin, trying to find a nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. You can have a slightly bent knees here. Inhale, flat back again. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back again. Exhale, forward fold. We'll come down to the mat. So press the hands into the mat. We'll come to a plank one more time. Again, knees down is perfect. In this plank, pressing into the floor with all points of the hands. And when you're ready, we'll go back down to downward dog, so tuck the toes. Send the hips up and back. Again, you can really press into the feet here, pressing the heels toward the mat. Keeping a very bent knee, very bent legs here. Sending the hips up and back, trying to find the length in the spine, keeping the shoulders in their sockets. And from here, we'll bring the left foot between our hands for a lunge. Knee down is perfectly okay. And in our knee down lunge, let's try to find A moment here of relaxation. How can we go deep into this stretch without putting in too much work? Maybe that means bending forward a bit more, letting the shoulder rest on the knee. Maybe that means coming up for some of us, leaning on the knee with our arms. In our self love flow, I'm going to offer some poses that allow us to engage a bit, but ones that also allow us to relax into them. Take what you need from these stretches, from these poses. Sometimes self love means restoration, relaxation. Sometimes self love means cultivating some strength. So if you do want to cultivate some strength, you can tuck the toe behind you on the right leg and lift that knee. So if you're here, let's just make sure that the knee is stacked directly above the ankle, and that when we lift that knee, we're engaging in the entire leg, tightening all the muscles in the thigh, even in the butt and the lower back, and doing the work here to press that right hip forward. So you'll feel the stretch in your hip flexor. And from here, if you haven't lifted that knee, go ahead and tuck your toe, lift the knee, and we'll drop the heel behind us. We're going to burst up and open into warrior. Drop the shoulders down, relax them, bend over that knee. Inhale to flip that left palm, reach forward. Exhale, reach back. And from here, we'll lift the right arm up and over, leading with that left elbow toward the left knee, stretching the right side body. And when you're ready, you can drop back down to frame the foot. Coming back to lunge. Again, knee down is totally okay. From here, we're going to bend in the right knee and straighten out that left leg. So if we're bending in the right knee, again, having that blanket or pillow can be really helpful here. And just coming up to the knee, finding flexion in the left foot. Let's see how far we can press the chest forward and lean, finding that tilt, that hinge at our hips. Maybe bring the arms forward to catch ourselves. And keeping that flex in the left foot, we're kind of pressing down into the floor with the heel. If it feels good, you can point and flex in that left foot. And if your version of self-love today is to really relax in this stretch, just allow the muscles to lengthen. You can round in the spine and just let the head hang heavy. If you're trying to cultivate some mobility and some strength, you can try to reach the chest forward, keep a flex foot, and really, really engage in that leg, pressing the heel into the floor. And we'll bring that left foot back to the floor, bending in the leg. We'll take a few extra breaths in this lunge. And then from here, we'll bring the left hand over to the other side of our foot, so our hands are together, and then crawl out that left foot. I'm going to face you all to demonstrate this. So our hands are directly in front of us, crawling out the left foot, and the toe should be kind of diagonally pointing outward. And here we're trying to press the right hip forward and down toward the floor. You can open the chest, keep the throat open, maybe sink down a little bit if we can. It can feel nice to find a pillow. If you have access to it, you can drop the elbows down to a pillow or even down to the floor. We're finding a gentle opening here in the and the hip on the left side. And when you're ready, we'll come back out of this. What we can do from here is press the hands into the floor and just swing that left foot back to meet the right for plank, knee down plank. We'll take a moment here, but when you're ready, tuck the toes and we'll send the hips up for downward dog again. And from here, we'll do the right side. So swing that right foot between the hands, drop that knee down to the floor for lunge on the right side. Again, if your version of self-love is to find some length in the muscles, trying to find some restoration here, flatten the back of your left foot down to the mat. Press the left hip forward. Maybe find the right shoulder against the right knee. And if you're working to cultivate strength, I'll invite you to tuck the left toe, bring up that left knee, maybe come up, building strength here. Connect to the belly breath here. Try to send that left hip forward. And if you haven't yet, tuck that back toe, lift the knee. We'll drop that back heel and burst open into warrior. Again, you might need to bend a little bit more into the knee, making sure the knee is stacked above the ankle. From here, we'll flip the front palm, reaching forward, and then up and back. And then from here, leading with the right elbow toward the right knee, we'll stretch the left side body. And then turn down to frame the foot with the hands. We'll bring that left heel back up and drop the knee down to the mat. From here, again, maybe adjust your blanket or your pillow beneath your left knee. We'll come to our left knee and straighten out the right leg. And you can find flexion in the right foot. If it feels good for you, lean forward, reaching the chest forward, keep a nice tall spine, drop the hands to support you. And again, if you just want to fall into a restorative stretch, you can just release into this. You can even round the spine and let the head hang heavy if it feels good. And if you want to cultivate some mobility, you can really find flexion, pressing into the mat or to the floor with the heel, reaching the chest forward. Maybe flex and point that right foot. And then I'll turn toward you to demonstrate. We'll bend in the right knee again. We'll bring the right hand to meet the left and then crawl the right foot out. Try to find where it feels good for you as far as like how far the heel is from your body. And again, if you have a pillow nearby, it can feel good to drop the elbows down to the pillow here. If you have access to it, maybe even drop down to the floor. I'm not there this morning. And again, bring attention to the hips. Maybe try to press that left hip forward. Maybe find engagement. And when you're ready, we'll press ourselves back up and swing the right leg back to meet the left. We can meet here in tabletop. From here, we'll touch the toes behind us. So you have the option here of spreading the knees out a little bit wider for child's pose, or you can have the knees a bit closer. I like to have the knees a little bit wide. And then send the hips back over the ankles. Stretch the arms far and wide ahead of you. Here I'll invite you to take a couple of big deep breaths and just sigh on the exhale. From here, let's crawl the hands over to the right side. Sticking the left palm into the floor, and we can send the left hip down and back. Stretching into the left side body. Reach that left hip down and back. From here, we can crawl through center, over to the other side. Again, sticking the palm into the floor, almost like it's stuck with glue. Send the hips down and back. And from here, you can crawl back to center. We'll take just a couple breaths here again. Nice big inhale and take a sigh on the exhale. Allow the shoulders to release on the exhale. And when you're ready, you can use the hands to crawl back up. We'll meet seated back on the mat. And while we're here, we'll stretch the legs out ahead of us. Flexing the toes up toward the ceiling. And here we're just trying to find some length in the upper body, trying to create a 90-degree angle. And what can feel good here is to bring the fingers beneath the thighs, puff the chest forward on the inhale, and round the spine on the exhale. Just fold forward the head, maybe reach the head toward the knees. Just hang heavy here for a moment. And then sitting back up, nice tall spine. We'll do the same thing with the legs out wide. So, in a bit of a wide straddle, we can kind of shake out the legs, warm them up. Maybe alternate flex and point. And then let's flex in the feet, pointing the toes toward the ceiling. Try to find that nice tall spine as if there's a string pulling you from the top of your head. And again, you can tuck the fingers beneath the knees, beneath the thighs. Try to press the chest forward on the inhale. And on the exhale, you can round the spine. Just fold forward. Notice how different it feels in a straddle. Just a couple breaths here. And sit back up. Let's bring the left foot, the sole of the foot, in toward the right thigh. We'll try to find that same length in the spine, turning toward the leg, and crawl down, trying to press the chest forward. Stretching out the right hamstring. And I'll encourage the same thing here. If you're trying to cultivate some stretch, really wanting to bring some length into the muscles, You can just try to pull yourself as forward as possible. But if you'd like to cultivate some mobility, you can really engage in this leg. For some of us, that might mean keeping a micro bend in the knee. But either way, we're finding that engagement, pressing into the heel, pressing into the floor with the heel, and sending that chest forward. I think another part of self-love as well is acceptance and forgiveness. Accept yourself where you're at in your yoga flow. Physically, the way this shows up for me is just allowing myself to just be where I'm at, not to push myself. Growing up, taking dance classes, there were some really unhealthy practices that we had where dance teachers would like push us into splits and push us into stretches. And later on, just kind of learning that those things are not necessarily helpful for us to push our bodies in ways that feel uncomfortable. When you're ready, you can sit up with the torso. We'll reach the right hand to the left knee and send the left hand up and over, leaning that left hand over toward the right side, trying to find some opening in the left side body. And then from here, you can come back up, bring that left hand to the back, pressing it into the floor, and send the right hand up and over. From here, we're gonna kind of press the knee into the floor to send the hips up. Reaching that right hand far and back, pressing the hips forward. You can point in that right toe, and then release down to the mat. We'll switch over to the other side. Again, try to puff the chest forward, roll the shoulders back, crawl just as far as feels comfortable for you. So in my experience with my body, I have some past of just almost trauma in the muscles of just like feeling pushed and pressured into positions and into flexibility that's not necessarily helpful, especially for the long term. I noticed some joint pain in my knees after stretching in that way for so long, not really knowing what was best for my body. So I feel so grateful for my yoga practice and grateful for my yoga teacher certification, learning so much about the anatomy of the body, how the muscles work, how joints work. And it feels really good to just bring some self-love into my practice after being misled and mistaught. So in this flow, I encourage you to think about ways that maybe your body has experienced trauma or experienced pain in any way. Where do we feel tension? How do we release that tension? How do we bring care and love to our bodies in ways that feel good for us? The last thing I want is for our yoga flows to feel like a force or like pressure. So again, at any point in our flow, if something doesn't feel good, just take what you need. Do whatever feels good for you. We can sit back up, bring the left hand to the right knee. We'll stretch the right arm up and over, trying to bring it toward the left toe. And when you're ready, we'll reach this right hand up and back to drop into our back space. Lift the left hand up, and then press into the floor with the right knee, pressing forward with the hips, pointing in the left toe. And release back down to the mat. From here, we'll bring the soles of the feet together. And you can either grab the toes or the ankles. My arms are super long, so I have to grab my toes. And just release in the shoulders, roll them down and back. Maybe find some length, reaching the back of the head, up and out. And we'll inhale here, press the chest forward, maybe wiggle a bit into our seat. And on the exhale, you can hinge in the hips forward just a little bit. keeping the length in the spine. We'll do that one more time. So inhale, try to open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, hinge forward just a little bit more on the hips. One more time. Let's do a nice big belly breath. Inhale. And on the exhale, you can round the spine, release. Let the head hang heavy. And from here, we'll roll back up. We're going to bring our backs down to the mat. So bring the knees up toward the ceiling. I'll turn this way to demonstrate for you. So knees are up. Let's send the arms forward and slowly from the bottom of the spine to the top, rolling down to the mat. Slowly with control. From here, we'll send that right heel up toward the ceiling. Let's point and flex. And then pressing the heel toward the ceiling. No matter where we are here, let's try to find our hands interlaced behind the back of the thigh. And if you have the flexibility for it, you can grab behind the ankle. No matter where you are, press that heel far and out away from your body. And what you can do here is pull a bit on the leg and press away with the heel. And again, I'll invite you, if you're trying to find some flexibility, let go of that tension and just pull in toward the chest. And if you're trying to cultivate some strength, some mobility, trying to find that kind of tension in the leg to press away as we pull in. And then from here, we'll bend in that leg. Let's drop it on the left knee. And we'll thread the hands behind the thigh on the left side, pulling in toward the body. The work here is to try to keep a nice flat spine against the mat. Meanwhile, we're pulling in the knee toward the body. It might feel good to press away the right knee with the right elbow. Connect again to the belly breath here. Try to find some nice, long, deep breaths. Maybe rotate in that left ankle, rotate in the right ankle. And slowly release out of this stretch. Try to be gentle. And we'll drop that right foot to meet the left. And we'll send the left up and over, so pressing that heel toward the ceiling. Flex and point. And then press that heel toward the ceiling. We can grab the back of the leg. And then from here, we'll bend in that leg, drop the ankle onto the knee, thread the fingers behind the thigh. And again, we can either pull in toward the chest and then try to find a nice flat spine against the floor, or try to find the flat spine first and then pull in toward the chest. Maybe rotate in the right ankle, rotate in the left. And from here, Slowly release. Let's keep this left knee up toward our chest. Hug it in toward our body. Give our leg some love. And from here, let's bring the left hand to guide the left knee. Straighten out that right leg and open to the left side, opening up that hip. I like to give myself a little massage here with the right knuckle on my right hip flexor. Self massage is one of my favorite acts of self love. And we'll take one more breath here to open up just a little bit more on the left side, maybe lift the knee a little bit more. And then let's float the knee up and over to the other side, dropping the knee down. It's okay if this left shoulder lifts up from the floor. We can try to bring the shoulder down to the floor by reaching the left arm up and over. So let's inhale, stretch the arm out long. Exhale, release the shoulder down to the mat. Inhale, stretch the left arm far and long. Exhale, release down to the mat. One more time. Inhale, stretch the left arm far and long. And then exhale, release the shoulder down. Let's bring the knee back up toward the body and relax it down to meet the right. And let's bring in the right knee, give it a nice big hug. And then finding a right angle, opening up to the right side. Massage out that left hip flexor. And from here, let's float the knee up and over to the other side, keeping a bent leg. Reaching that right hand up and over on the inhale, stretch long. Exhale, release down to the mat. Inhale, stretch the arm far and long. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, reach far and long. And exhale, release. Let's bring that knee back up into the air. Let's bring both legs in toward the body, hugging the body, the lower body. Maybe we can rock back and forth, giving our backs a gentle massage against the floor or the mat. And from here, we'll stretch into an X. So stretching out all the limbs far and long. Inhale to reach far and long with the limbs. Exhale, release. A couple more times. Inhale, stretch all the limbs far and long away from the body. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, reach far and long away from the body. And on your exhale, you can bring the hands down by the hips. Release the legs. Going into Shavasana here, let's just find a moment of comfort. Checking in with our bodies in Shavasana. If we find any tension in the lower back, it can feel good to roll up a blanket and stick it into that natural curve, that space in our lower back. Or if it feels a little tense in our neck, we can find something to tuck underneath the head like a pillow or a blanket. Do whatever feels good for you here. Trying to find a moment of comfort. Release all of your weight into the floor. Once you found your comfort, I'll invite you to bring your right hand over your heart. Try to release the elbow down by your side if you can. And then bring the left hand to your belly. Maybe take this moment to elongate each breath, slowing down each exhale. And while we're here in Shavasana, corpse pose, I invite us to come to the practice of death. Corpse pose allows us to take a moment to, at the end of our movement practice, feel into this symbol of what it can be like at the end of life. And it allows us to take a moment to remember those who have passed. We'll take a couple breaths here and that. And once you've had that moment, bring some attention to the right hand, maybe feeling the heartbeat. And I'll invite you to visualize sending love into the heart from your right hand, giving yourself gratitude for the beating of your heart, keeping the blood pumping, keeping the nutrients within your body constantly without voluntary control. Our hearts are keeping us alive. The heart is often a symbol of love. So take a moment to give some gratitude, give some thanks for your heart and all the work that it does every day while we're awake, while we're asleep. And I'll invite you here to visualize sending some love and gratitude from the heart through the chest, through the left arm, and out the palm into the belly, giving some gratitude to the breath. The diaphragm is another muscle that, for the most part, is involuntary, allowing us to take in the air, take in the nutrients that the air offers us, and to exhale, to release what doesn't serve us anymore. Feeling into the gratitude that we have for the breath, for our hearts, for the complex workings of our bodies. And moving from this visualization, we can release our hands. You can flip the palms up to the ceiling if you'd like to receive, or flip the palms down toward the earth if you'd like to find some grounding for your day. And from here, I'll invite us to think about one way that we can show ourselves some love. One way that we can offer ourselves the same love that we might offer to a plant that we water, the same love that we might offer to a child or a parent when we give them a hug, when we offer them support. What's the first thing you think of here? Whatever that first thought is, let's try to keep that with us throughout our day. Remember to give ourselves that offering, to give ourselves that same support that we give others, and to show ourselves that same gratitude. Bringing some attention and awareness to the body, we can wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Coming out of Shavasana, we can roll over to one side, find ourselves in fetal position. Take a moment to find a moment of comfort here before we come back up to seated for our closing breaths. And once you've made it to seated, find whatever's comfortable for you. And wherever you are here, just roll the shoulders up and back. Release them down. Find a nice tall spine. And you can have the hands at heart center, over the heart, or hands at the knees. For our 4 closing breaths, I'll invite you to inhale. For your heart, exhale, releasing any tension in the shoulders. And we'll begin a breath for the ancestors that we bring to this space, and for the indigenous people who are here on this land before colonization, breathing in and out. A breath to thank ourselves for our practice today, breathing in and out. A breath to appreciate others for their support, breathing in and out. And a breath for the virtual yoga community we're practicing with today, breathing in and out. Thank you for practicing self-love with me today. Thank you for showing yourself some self-love. Hydrate. Remember our heart and breath mantra, our heart and breath gratitude today throughout our day. Maybe remember what it is that you want to offer yourself for self-love. Remember our heart and breath mantra, our heart and breath gratitude today throughout our day. Maybe remember what it is that you want to offer yourself for self-love. I thought I ended this, but I guess I didn't. Have a beautiful Wednesday, everyone. Bye. Much love.